Hello, this is Herman Thorson Law Offices, and our ongoing video e-alert. Today, we're going to talk about two subjects dear to your heart. One is your wages, employment, and how to make sure you get it. And the second is that if you have homeowner association dues or plan unit development dues, how when you walk away from your home you can still be liable and how to avoid it. There are state minimum wage laws have been raised in 11 different states, including Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, and several others. California has enacted a whistleblower protection so that if there is illegal activity going on at the employment and you report it, then you can have your job protected and not be fired for reporting the illegal activity. Veterans are being discriminated against, and they are now protected, especially in Indiana, which has enacted a brand new bill that no one can discriminate against veterans, including the Indiana National Guard. Additionally, added protection has been added for pregnant women. They are now a protected class, and New Jersey, among other states, has enacted a law to protect pregnant women, and the Federal Equal Opportunity Commission has enacted laws that protect pregnant women. In fact, it is difficult for anyone to fire a pregnant woman because discrimination will be the first thing thought of. On another note, there is wage theft by employers against employees, especially in the restaurant and other areas. The federal people have gone after them to the tune of over $50 million, where they have been making people work off the clock or actually changing the time cards on them. And workers have sometimes worked 7 days straight, 11 hours a day, and not been fully paid for it. If you know you're not getting paid properly, then keep a private little diary to the side, but obviously don't write it at work because it'll get you in further problems. And keep track of your hours, and then you can consult an attorney afterwards. Wage theft in California, for example, allows 30 days penalty for each day you're paid late. And if you're not paid your full wages, you're obviously being paid late, and it covers per pay period. So for example, if you're earning $100 per day legitimately by making $12.50 an hour for an 8-hour day, and you're not paid timely, then for every day they paid you late, you're entitled to 1 day's pay up to a maximum of 30 days for each pay period. You do not even need a lawyer, because in California you can file it before the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement. Recently, you may have read a case where the FedEx was accused of wage theft. Some of you are working as independent contractors when in fact you are not an independent contractor under the law. There are various statutes that explain what is and is not an independent contractor. FedEx had all their drivers listed as independent contractors, but they controlled their routes, their times, how they went about their business, to the point that they were held to be employees, and then the FedEx had to pay, I believe, close to $50 million to protect the employees and get them their back wages, because they were in fact not independent contractors. The California State Labor Commissioner recently ordered a janitorial service in Fremont, California, to pay over $330,000 in back wages and penalties to 41 workers who cleaned 17 supermarkets. They were basically janitors. She'd found the company forced employees to sign blank timesheets, which it then used to record inaccurate minimal hours of work. There are others as well. But if your hours are not being reported properly, keep track and keep a record of it. It will make your life easier. If you feel you have a problem with overtime, then contact your attorney. In California, you can contact the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement, or if you like, you can call us. There is no charge for talking to us on a consultation basis about whether or not you may have been cheated out of your wages. And that covers basically, if you get fired or quit or retired, your wages are due and paid on time, or the employee still pays the penalty. For example, if you give notice that you're going to quit, your wages must be paid the last day of work. If you are terminated by the employer, if you're terminated that same day and said you're fired, the employer must pay you that same day, or the penalties start accruing. So if the employer pays you 3 days later, you are entitled to your pay plus 3 days penalty per day's wages. There are labor code sections that cover this. If you're interested in code sections, you can go to Google and look at California Labor Code sections 201, 202, and 203. They are consecutive order and deal with this. These penalties are even awarded attorney's fees. Even if you win, and let us say you get $500 at the hearing, and the employer decides to appeal, and at the appeal you only get $100, the employer still has to pay your attorney's fees even though you got less, because as long as you get something, your attorney's fees must be paid by the employer. Most people, when they buy a home, especially if they do not put 20% down, have to carry insurance that guarantees the lender will be paid. And so if they walk away from the home, it's foreclosed upon, there's a deficiency, the mortgage insurance will usually pay the lender some part of the deficiency, but the homeowner is not personally liable for this. That is not true if you're buying a home through Veterans Benefits. The Veterans Administration does not give insurance to guarantee payment. What it does is it gives a guarantee to the lender that the loan will be paid. If the VA has to pay off the balance of a loan on a loss, the VA itself can sue you, the homeowner, for whatever it paid. So if you're using VA benefits to buy a home, then it is important you understand you can be personally liable for any deficiency to the Veterans Administration. This should be explained to you by anyone that's giving you a VA loan, and if it's not, you might think carefully about where you are getting your loan. Additionally, now we will talk about people that unfortunately through unavoidable circumstances have to leave their home or walk away from it. To begin with, on most homes, at least in California and several other states, when you leave a home and the lender goes through what is called a non-judicial foreclosure, meaning they don't use the courts, and it's a purchase money mortgage, meaning the money you borrowed was used to buy the home with, you cannot be chased personally for any liability, with the VA exception I mentioned a moment ago. And so if they foreclose, you walk away. Now, unfortunately, if you are paying any kind of homeowners association dues, that's not true with the homeowners association. The homeowners association only has the dues it gets to maintain the common area. They will and do in fact sue religiously and will chase you for any past due monies you owe. If you are living in a home and you bought a home and the original mortgage is on it, then it may pay you just to stay in the home until you find a new place to live. Your only liability at that point is the homeowners association dues, and if you have to pay it, then you might as well pay the homeowners association dues and live there until you find another place, or more importantly, until the home is transferred into the lender's name through a foreclosure sale. So if the property goes into foreclosure, you might want to wait until the notice of sale date, which is usually 20 to 30 days away, before you actually make the move. But remember, the homeowners association will chase you and will sue you for the dues until the title is changed, meaning the name on the property has changed. Your leaving the property does not avoid the liability you owe for your monthly dues. Therefore, you might consider staying there. It's basically rent-free except for the homeowners association until you found a new place or until the lender has agreed to take over the property. which can be done via a short sale, which doesn't cost you anything, and it can be done by the lender taking what they call a deed in lieu of foreclosure, if they choose to do so, but which I've rarely seen done. If you enjoyed this video, then by all means please share it with others and subscribe to it pursuant to the buttons below. If you have a subject you would like us to discuss, then please call me at 888-667-8529. That is 888-667-8529. And if enough people are interested, we will be happy to do it. But in the interim, please share the video and subscribe by hitting the buttons below, and we will be happy to go on with this subject matter in areas that interest you as a consumer. And may the hot weather go down so you can enjoy it better.